me, Jordan Jereb, and we have our guest today. We have Slingshot Warrior.
How you
Slingshot
doing?
Warrior, he's kind of like an expert on different melee weapons, just everything other than firearms, which is rare these days. Now, we're not against firearms. We love AK-47s and all that, so we're not anti-gun at all. However, we think that other weapons, because we do have a global audience, for one. There's people that can't have firearms in some countries. There's convicted felons. There's also hunting implications. You can hunt with these things. There's a lot of different reasons to have a good grasp on like different melee weapons. Um,
Yep.
so today we're going to be looking at this Aztec obsidian sword. I have a background as a person that did 5 years in prison, and we didn't have no pew-pews in there when I was in prison. So looking at primitive weapons is fun. Having really seen them in action, it's a little bit like, ooh, it's kind of gets the adrenaline going, having really seen some of these things in action.
This is the Makwaweek, one of the most legendary weapons of
Now,
all
this
time,
guy is North
a
Oak
sword with
too,
an
and he
edge
has a
of
great
obsidian.
channel where he recreates a lot of Stone Age weaponry. He shows how simple, human creativity is. I mean, you can make lethal weapons from the most simplest things, and our ancestors did it.
From my own prison background, I have seen stuff where there's like razors on like sandwich between two things with like razors going out. That this reminds me of.
Obsidian is a volcanic glass that is sharper than the most sharpest blade in the world, like a scalpel. This stuff is actually used for surgery. It's that sharp. I mean, it can. So it was used a lot. The only thing that with obsidian, it's very brittle.
They didn't have access to metals pre-Columbia in South America.
Yeah,
So this is their version of a sword. What do you think about flint knapping?
I think it's a very good skill to learn. I always want to learn how to do it. I don't know
Is
how to
there
do it, but
is there any material in North America that you could flint knap with?
I heard a lot of the natives they like to use like the around here we got a lot of quartz.
Yeah.
No, quartz is a pretty good stone to.
So this is the NPC Ghost Knife by Bone Tactical. I gotta give him credit where it's due. It's cool that
Yeah.
he made a knife out of something other than metal, and so do the Aztecs. I think the Aztecs might have been onto something.
Hard. I think it's oak. It's oak.
Okay. Can I see the
It's
bottom?
oak.
Can we see the bottom of it?
It's my own homemade
As to
rubber
keep it
stopper.
as to keep it from wearing down.
Yeah, I made. It's made of a dog toy that I
So
found in the
to to
dollar
what
store.
to what extent did you whittle it? Did you just remove the bark, or did you go all the way?
I removed the bark. I basically sanded it.
Okay.
And I put some symbols into it, like Christian symbols, because I'm a Christian.
And that's
You
pretty
know.
impressive. People would buy that. It's been proven that a handgun is not going to save you against a person that knows what they're doing with a knife if you don't know what you're doing. Like especially at close range, right?
Yes, the
A
knife
a
is a.
a person with a knife that knows what they're doing 100% can defeat a person with a handgun that doesn't know what they're doing. So no matter
And
what tool you're using, no matter what weapon you're using, you have to train with it. If you don't train with it,
of course.
um, have you seen my martial arts training dummy, Bob?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so I
But
recommend people get Bob because
yeah,
Bob will help you train,
yeah,
and I recommend people get rubber knives.
yeah.
And just
And,
train.
yeah, and this is what I do basically. I fought with knives before.
Yeah.
The bad neighborhood. So
You had like a Hatfield and McCoy type feud, but up in the wilderness between your family and this other family. If I'm
that was a rich
understanding it right.
family, and we were a bunch of kids, and the parents hated each other, and basically the other kids were shooting us with BB guns. My grandfather made us these high-powered rubber band rifles to shoot back with them. Basically, these were industrial rubber bands, the kind used for shipping on big rigs. And basically, instead of for a rubber band gun, you'd have like a clothespin. No, it was a steel clamp,
I
and it
just
looked like a musket.
based grandpa. The people that have over reliance on guns that are obsessed with guns also I noticed they don't have food and water stored up enough. And they have this sort of marauder fantasy where they think
Yeah.
they're just going to take other people's stuff, and it's like, no, you're not. Like, I went into that in the other video.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I've heard a lot of people about less than lethal, for example. Oh, it's Nerf or nothing. Oh, there was one guy who was ex-military. He was like, "Oh, they're just toys. They're just toys." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so
You know,
we know that's not true because several police departments are already using them. I torture tested this thing. I put over 1,000 rounds through it. This thing puts solid
yeah.
dents in metal.
Oh yeah,
I mean, this thing's
oh
denting
yeah,
the crap
definitely.
out of metal. And Such did a video on the Burna. I know people say the OC rounds are gimmicks. I think the cheap ones are gimmicks. I think the more expensive ones, if they're like 5% Patva and like 5% OC, you could even get like CS. You can get some hardcore.
Oh yeah,
But I think maybe they have a shelf life because we know regular OC spray does have a shelf life. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm seeing on this
Um,
particular setup, he's got a Picatinny rail, he's got a folding stock, he's got a foregrip. Like you can see,
it's got an
uh,
open magazine.
yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. Um,
It's got a built-in like spanner. That's what we call, like, when you call cocking, we call it spanning in crossbow terms. You know what I mean? Spanning. So on the
so
back, it's got a built-in spanning lever.
he's putting a hollow sun optic on this, like a real hollow sun. Do you think that's a LARP, or do you think
Yeah,
that's you don't think that's necessary? You just think he's
there
LARPing?
are crossbow scopes that can. No, no, it
I
could
mean, is
be possible. I mean,
would
you
would a
red
would a
dot
red
sight
dot?
would be cheaper. A red dot sight.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting a hollow sun on it, so I'm just trying to figure out to what extent that would really improve his
I'll put it this
accuracy.
way. I'll put it this way. This thing can go up to 70 yards. You know,
Okay. So how
we're
would you
talking a lot of power. I've seen this thing tested.
So this is different than firearms ballistics though. So how much drop do you think you get? Like, and doesn't it go at a bit of an arch? You'd have to have a special scope for that, right?
Um, but there's particular kind of scopes. There's crossbow scopes, okay, that are specifically made for crossbows. And the thing is, the best thing about it is there is no recoil.
The tip protrudes from this, so could you use your crossbow as a spear kind of? As a melee weapon?
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend. I'd say if you want to do that, you might as well put a bayonet at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it
But
could
it is
bend
a
it could mess the mechanism up if you did
yeah,
that.
mm,
But
yeah.
in a desperate situation that might be, like if you're in a really
It would be
desperate
better just to
situation.
put a. If you want to attach a bayonet, you can attach a bayonet, no
Yeah.
problem. You know what I mean? I have seen this actually.
Yeah. So
I was impressed.
what do you think about the methodology of the test? Was the methodology good, or is there
It
any
was great.
problems there?
It
Okay.
was great.
All right.
I actually sent that to Airgun Alley. Um, he didn't get back to me, but I sent that on Instagram to your
Airgun
video to
Alley, he's a
Airgun Alley.
he's a pretty big channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was testing the he was testing it in his the Sabra launcher in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, not for the durability, but for the range and the power. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So my whole reasoning behind this is I wanted to see, is a little bit of sand and dirt or water or whatever going to stop this thing from working? Because that was going to dictate my decision on how many more of these I was going to buy and whether or not I was going to make sure all my friends have them or not. So many people had seen the work that I've done with the Saber launcher. I wanted to make sure I was 100% sure this thing really, really is up to real world standards.
Right.
Because I had
I
been
think you did
pushing,
a great job. I
yeah,
think you did a excellent job at it. Um, it's with the inflation, it went up for 100. It used to be like $90 for these. You know, man.
yeah.
I mean, with the inflation that we've been experiencing,
I
now it's
would.
like 100.
It's like 170 something now, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
But I would still say they're worth every penny. I would, yeah.
yeah,
I
they are.
mean, and the amount of mags I put in it was
Yeah,
probably more than anybody else has done. Like nobody had done this with this thing yet, and somebody had to do it. And You know, I kind of bit the bullet. I spent my money on it because I really wanted to see, you know, was Saber putting out something that is a serious product? And I can
Yeah.
say now I've proven that this thing's not a toy. You know, the detractors
Yeah.
are saying that this thing is a toy. I think I've proven that this thing is definitely not a toy. This thing puts dents inside of metal. This thing
I
works through
and
water,
you know,
mud,
af- oh yeah.
everything. Yeah.
After seeing that video, it made me think it's such an inexpensive launcher, but yet it's so built so tough. I
Yeah.
mean, how do you make something so tough and quality and make it so affordable? But some
Yeah.
things that are cheaper are better quality than the more expensive stuff.
I'm
Mm,
going to test the Burna at some point. Everybody
yeah.
knows that that's coming at some point. I don't know when it's
Uh,
coming.
I would say if you really want to save your money, get a P2P. It's better than a burner.
Yeah.
It's same features of the burner,
Now,
except it's got 20 joules on it. You know what I mean?
will it pass the torture test? That's the question.
Well, I would suggest it. I think this one that I use would pass your torture test.
What kind of
It's
holster
a
you got?
simple.
The holster is
This was
orange?
made by this was made by my buddy APZ. You know what I mean?
3D printing?
Yep.
Do they come in
Yeah.
black or green?
They can come in black if you I gotta talk to my guy, I guess. And
Okay. That's pretty cool. How
uh,
does it work on the belt clip pretty well?
yeah, works in the belt clip, locked into place.
The guys at Grimberg, I know I'm a bit of a brand risk, but Grimberg needs to send me a sample of one of their products. They're going to make a lot of money if they do that. How many people have I persuaded to buy this thing? This is only like 170 or whatever. So people really want to know, like, what does $1,000 air gun or CO2 launcher feel like in your hand? People want to know, you know? I want to know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to spend 1,000 on something just to torture test it.
I will put it this way: the one appeal that I have, a lot of these launchers, not all. One
Yeah.
thing I like about them is that they're cheaper than firearms. Say, I would love to do if I get a hold of Grimberg, I want to get a hold of Pistol 68 and test them side by side.
What
That's
I
what I
want to
want to
say
do.
to what I want to say to Grimberg is this:
Yeah.
you send me your best, give me your best weapon, and
Yeah.
I'll torture test it, and people will buy it, 100%.
Okay.
Because the truth is, I'm not sponsored by Saber, okay? But I
Okay.
should be. I should be 100%. Saber
You know,
should have sponsored me a long time ago. The amount of people that have
well,
bought this thing because of me, I've
oh
made
yeah.
Saber a ridiculous amount of money, I'm telling you. I have another thing I want to say to all these companies that make less lethals. Listen,
Yeah.
I know I've been to prison. I know I'm a brand risk. I get it. I'm a brand risk. But who do you think is buying your products?
Exactly.
People that have checkered past. Let me put it that way. People that have checkered past are the people that buy a lot of these things a lot of the time. A lot of
Oh yeah.
felons. So I am not that big of a brand risk. I am a very good representative sample. And check it out. Grimberg, you guys are a smaller company, okay? This giant mega corporation Saber doesn't want to deal with me because I am a brand risk and they sell stuff to law enforcement. You guys can capitalize off of the inaction of Saber. Because even though I like Saber's launcher, you guys have more direct feedback with your customers than Saber does, and you're willing to take on a guy like me that's a brand risk. This would be a golden opportunity for Grimberg to become the Glock of air guns, because that's what they want to do. They want to make something like Glock or SIG or something, and they want to put something serious in your holster that you have the full confidence that this is a real weapon that's really going to be there for you. That's what Grimberg wants.
You know what? You could also talk to some of these repeating crossbow companies. You know,
Yeah.
you can talk to
All right, well, guys, subscribe to Slingshot Warrior. We got Slingshot Warrior. You guys, make sure to go subscribe to him, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Jordan Jereb signing off. See you guys in the next one.